The galaxy watched as the survivors limped into Earth orbit, their hulls still hot from Fulvarian pursuit. A pan-species newsfeed called the arrival, the single most naive act in human history. Fulvarian dreadnoughts waited beyond the moon. Their message was clear: hand them over.
If we send them back, we send them to execution. That is not who we are. I want every dissenting voice in that room. Then they can watch me sign the asylum order.
By nightfall, medical shuttles ferried the wounded to Earth. No shots had been fired. Not yet. 3 million souls, packed into vessels never designed for interstellar flight, crossed the atmospheric boundary. The Galactic Council condemned the act as suicidal folly. Earth, they said, had chosen its own grave.
I have authorized full asylum. Let the galaxy call us fools. We will not trade in genocide.
The refugees stumbled onto solid ground, hollow-eyed and silent. Earth stood alone, and the galaxy watched. Major Ethan Cross received his orders: manage the refugee integration. He found them living in cargo containers converted to dormitories.
3 million aliens. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
Outside Parliament, thousands of humans gathered with signs reading "Send them back." The protest grew violent by sundown. Cross stood at a window, watching the protest. His jaw tightened. Order was fraying in a makeshift hangar. He found a Krenthal working on a damaged shuttle. The aliens' blue hands moved with startling precision.
Step away from that ship. Refugees don't touch military equipment.
This shuttle will fly again in 2 hours. Without me, it stays grounded for a week.
Cross checked the diagnostics. The alien was right. The propulsion grid had been rewired with nothing but salvaged parts.
He fixed a fault that Earth engineers would have scrapped. What else have we missed?
Food and medicine ran low. The weight of 3 million lives pressed harder each day. Earth's civilian population grew restless, but Cross saw something the cameras missed. In the crowded relief lines, a human volunteer screamed at an elderly Krenthal, accusing him of hoarding supplies. Before Cross could intervene, a slender Durrani stepped between them. Her voice cut clean, like a blade.
The ration protocol allocates by metabolic need. This elder required more nutrients. There is no hoarding.
The volunteer hesitated, then stepped back. Cross watched the Durrani woman, noting her steady gaze.
She de-escalated a riot with logic. If we had 100 like her.
In a nearby classroom, refugee children sat with human students, learning Earth's history. Their hunger for knowledge was palpable. Then the alert came. A Thulvarian strike group had entered the Sol system, targeting the outer mining colonies. Cross assembled his team. Joran and Amar stood ready, their expressions grim.
They're testing us, seeing if we'll fold under pressure.
The refugees had shown resilience, but Thulvarian guns aimed at Earth's doorstep made the gamble feel like a noose tightening. President Rivers summoned Cross to his office. The Thulvarian strike group pushed closer, and evacuation alarms echoed through the halls.
Major, I've decided to give the refugees full access to our classified military databases. All of it.
Sir, that's treason. They could sell it to the Thulvarians. We don't know them.
We do know them. They have nothing left to lose, and everything to build. We can make them allies, not victims.
The order was given. No conditions, no restrictions. Every refugee with clearance would learn Earth's war tech.
He's either a genius or a fool. Either way, I can't let this backfire.
Joran received the news in the hangar. His golden eyes widened, then hardened with purpose.
Your people entrust us with their greatest weapons. This is... I have no words.
Amar received the clearance calmly. She only nodded, her mind already calculating new applications of human tech. The secret was out within high command. Half the brass called it strategic, the other half called it the end of human sovereignty. The gamble was placed. 6 months later, prefab barracks replaced cargo containers. Refugee soldiers drilled alongside human cadets, absorbing tactics, weapon systems, and the art of human war.
That feint was pure human doctrine. You are learning fast.
We adapt. Krenthal instincts plus your Navy's precision.
But not everyone adapted. A breach in the defense network appeared overnight. the holographic map lit up with a single catastrophic alert. Classified military codes missing.
Someone inside the program sold us out. The Thulvarians have our positions.
On a rain-slicked street, a hooded figure passed a datapad to a Thulvarian agent. The exchange was silent, professional.
Amar, I need you to analyze who had access. Every human and refugee alike.
Trust is fragile, Major. I will find the leak, but it may break something else.
The orbital shipyards hummed 24 hours a day, but the spy's shadow slipped through access hatches and comm channels unseen. Despite the spy, the first hybrid ship was rolled out. Durrani stealth plating welded to a human-made frame. It looked like vengeance cast in steel. The public watched the broadcast with a held breath. Some called it a marvel. Others called it an alien warship on human soil.
It's beautiful, and every panel carries their debt. They'll fight for this.
But Thulvarian cruisers didn't wait. They probed the outer colonies, forcing a skirmish before the paint was dry on the prototype. Hybrid fighters, piloted by refugees and humans, danced through Thulvarian flak. Joran's squadron dove first, sacrificing surprise for a firing solution. The skirmish ended with both sides limping away, a draw by tactical measure. But for the refugees, it was a statement. They could bleed the enemy.
We held, barely, but we held without losing a single hybrid ship. Joran, that squadron is ready.
The Thulvarian response was immediate. 3 dreadnoughts moved to reinforce the border, their captains eager to crush the upstart humans.
They're not backing off. We need that fleet built now, every ship we can weld.
The prototype's success fueled a fever in the shipyards. But the clock was ticking, and the galaxy held its breath. Without warning, a Thulvarian strike hit the mining outpost on Io-7. Human soldiers were killed in their bunks. The refugees held a vigil that night. Human families joined them. The line between citizen and refugee blurred in the candlelight.
The Thulvarians didn't just kill soldiers. They sterilized entire worlds. My homeworld lost over 9 billion.
Human soldiers who once protested now stood guard beside their alien recruits. The change was quiet, but it was total.
I've isolated 8 personnel with the access. 1 is human. The leak comes from within your command structure.
A fellow officer. This will rip the unit apart if it gets out.
Human vigils for the fallen now organically included the names of Krenthal and Durrani dead. The protests faded to a murmur.
No more talk of burdens. These people are our brothers. Joran, your dead are our dead.
But the spy still walked among them, a silent wound in a body that refused to stop bleeding. Grief had done what strategy could not. It had bound them. Now, they only had to survive the knife in the dark. Admiral Volmark's broadcast filled every channel. The ultimatum was absolute. Surrender all refugees or face annihilation.
He thinks this a show of strength, but it is an admission of fear. We will not bow.
Cross and Joran cornered the spy in an unfinished warship. The human officer's face was pale in the arc light.
You sold out your own people. For what? Thulvarian promises?
The interrogation lasted minutes. Under Cross's gaze and Joran's silence, the spy broke. He revealed the Starfall cannon, a planet killer capable of shattering worlds. The Thulvarians had it fully armed.
A planet killer. We're not just facing a fleet, we're facing extinction.
The shipyards roared into overdrive. Every welder, every grinder, every soul worked without rest.
They have a Death Star, but we have something better. The will of the free peoples of this galaxy.
Humanity and its new allies stood on the precipice, armed with nothing but hope and a fleet still under construction.
My world had a planetary shield. Its frequency neutralized the Starfall cannon. The data survived.
Amar pulled engineers from 4 species. Sleep was forgotten. They worked in shifts, translating ancient Krenthal codes into human technology.
If they pull this off, we won't just survive, we'll bleed them.
A saboteur was caught planting explosives on the yard's main power coupling. A single detonation could have crippled the fleet.
They're afraid. That's good.
The 400th ship rolled out that night, a frigate painted with the colors of every species that had fled to Earth.
400 ships, 18 months. From refugees to the largest fleet in human history.
The shield oscillator is installed. It will resonate at the cannon's frequency and disperse the beam.
We will go home, Major, and we will go with a storm.
The fleet was ready. Their countermeasure was untested, but hope was better than despair. All that remained was the order to launch. 3 million voices, through their leaders, asked President Rivers for one thing: permission to liberate their homes.
You came as refugees. You leave as liberators. Take our ships, our technology, and our hopes.
The entire planet watched the farewell. Humans and aliens wept together, knowing this gamble was final. Families boarded with belongings. The 400-ship fleet hummed with the energy of a people who had been forged anew.
It feels like a dream.
Dreams don't have hull ratings. Let's make sure we wake up.
Come back.
The engines ignited in unison, a cobalt-blue river of light against the black. The fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. For better or worse, the die was cast.
We've left everything behind. Again.
But this time, we're not running. We're returning.
Deep in hyperspace, Joran called a private meeting. His voice carried a weight Cross had not heard before.
The defense grid is not just a machine. It needs a living mind to anchor it. A psionic key.
What does that mean? Someone has to sit in the chair and burn out their brain.
The Fulvarians executed every Krenthol's psychic. We have no one left who can interface naturally.
My neural architecture is adaptive. I can be the key.
Number. There has to be another way. A machine, a subroutine. Anything but this.
The star will fall on billions if we fail. One life is an acceptable equation.
She's going to die for people she never met, and I can't stop her.
Engineers began modifying the neural interface. Amar watched them work, her face a mask of quiet sorrow. The fleet hurtled toward destiny, carrying a secret that would either save worlds or shatter their best hopes. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace, at the edge of Fulvarian territory. 400 ships spread like a steel storm.
You dare return? You are the dregs of dead worlds. This will be a mercy killing.
Hybrid fighters and frigates broke formation, dodging and weaving faster than Fulvarian doctrine could predict.
Target their power relays. A dreadnought without shields is a tomb.
Joran's strike team lanced into the dreadnought's flank, detonating its reactor array. The giant ship went dark.
One down. 300 more to go. Stay sharp.
The first Fulvarian line shattered, but the second held, and deep in their formation, sensors detected the Starfall cannon moving into position.
The cannon's power signature is spiking. It's targeting one of the homeworlds.
We can't let it fire. Not when we're so close.
The fleet regrouped, fresh with a hard-won victory, but the true battle had only begun. Amar sat in the neural interface chair, cables pulsing with deep blue light. The grid waited, hungry for a mind.
Link established. The grid recognizes me, initiating full spectrum jamming.
Fulvarian communications collapsed. Their ships, once coordinated, drifted without orders. Easy prey.
All squadrons, attack now. Split into strike groups. Liberate all 4 homeworlds simultaneously.
Amar's body convulsed. The psychic weight of the grid seared her nervous system like a live wire.
Amar, can you hold? Give me a status.
See, the pattern. Hold them. I will endure.
Her eyes glowed white-hot. Blood trickled from her nose, but the grid held firm. The fleet surged forward, tearing into disoriented Fulvarian formations. 3 worlds were now in sight.
If she stays in, she dies. But the grid is all that's keeping us alive. Keep her on the link. I want every medical resource thrown at her. She stays in that chair.
A frantic medical team worked around Amar, injecting stabilizers directly into her cranial ports. Cross stood on the bridge, watching her vitals on a small monitor. His face was carved from stone.
She'd say it was logical. I just sentenced her to death.
Amar's eyes flickered, but saw nothing. Her body was still, yet the grid burned bright. Across the system, Fulvarian ships fell silent or fled. The fleet's advantage held, but at what cost?
3 worlds freed. 1 life burning out. The math doesn't comfort me.
Cross. The fourth world is still contested. The cannon is repositioning. We need more time.
The fourth front was the linchpin. Without victory there, the rest was meaningless.
Hold on, Amar. Just a little longer. I'll carry this weight.
Yoren led the ground assault on Krenth, his boots sinking into ash. His people had called home.
Here. They died here.
He rose, raising his rifle, and the grief in his voice became a blade that cut through the hesitation of every soldier.
For the lost. For every soul they thought they could erase. Break them.
The Thalvarian line crumbled. Krenth was free, but the cost was written in every collapsed street. But on the fourth world, the sky turned purple. The Starfall cannon had locked onto its target.
All power to engines. Set course for the cannon. We'll hold it off.
The Hopewell broke formation, engines blazing cobalt, placing itself between the weapon and the helpless world.
This is insane, but it's the only move left.
Yoren's world was free, but the war had condensed to a single point: a beam, a ship, and a pilot fading in a chair. The Hopewell accelerated into the cannon's firing lane, its hull groaning as the full reactor output pushed against structural limits.
Brace for impact. We're taking that thing apart, one way or another.
The impact sheared away the cannon's firing array. Metal screamed, atmosphere vented, and the Hopewell's forward section crumpled.
The breach is open. Move. Move. Plant the charges on the main reactor.
Yoren's squad worked with desperation, setting the detonators on the cannon's heart. The charges detonated, a chain reaction ripping the cannon apart from within. The purple glow died. In her chair, Amar's lips moved. The grid flickered, then focused one last time, guiding every escape pod away from the debris.
Thank you for believing.
Cross reached her as the grid's hum stopped. He cradled her still form, blood and tears mixing on his uniform.
You did it. You saved them all. Now rest.
A cold fury swept the fleet. The last Thalvarian formations shattered against a wave of precision strikes born from 18 months of shared training and shared loss. Volmark's dreadnought was boarded. The admiral stood alone on his bridge, surrounded by hybrid soldiers.
You think this is victory? I am the Federation. Without me, the galaxy will tear itself apart.
Then the galaxy will learn to live without you.
Within hours, the last Thalvarian stronghold surrendered. 11 days after entering the system, the war was over. Cross carried Amar's body himself, wrapped in a standard issue sheet, down the ramp of a recovery ship.
We will build her a statue that looks at the sky. She deserves that.
The 4 homeworlds held simultaneous funerals. On every planet, the name Amar was spoken in 1,000 languages.
She gave everything. Now it's our turn to build something that lasts.
The war was won. The dead were mourned, but in the silence that followed, a new era begun, and the galaxy would soon realize what Earth had truly done. On the neutral world of Unity, representatives from Earth and the 4 liberated species gathered around a polished stone table.
We offered shelter, but you built a storm. Today, we sign not a treaty of mercy, but of equals.
For every world they burned, we return with a fleet. For every life they took, we bring a new alliance. We are now the Earthen Compact.
One by one, the leaders dipped their ceremonial pens. The ancient parchment absorbed the ink of 5 worlds. A galaxy-wide newsfeed, once filled with mockery, now broadcast a single image, 5 flags hanging side by side. The banners of Earth, Krenth, Doran, and 2 other resurrected worlds fluttered in the ceremonial wind. On every galactic map, Thalvarian red receded, replaced by the blue of Allied space. Earth stood at the center.
We didn't just give them shelter. We gave them everything we had, and they returned it tenfold.
We will remember Amar at every council. Her sacrifice built this peace.
The broadcast cut to analysts, scrambling to explain how Earth's naive compassion had just redrawn the political map of the galaxy. Cross returned to Earth, not as a major, but as a legend. Confetti and cheers swallowed the streets.
They're cheering for the victory. But all I see is the empty seat beside me.
President Rivers pinned a medal on his chest, but the ceremony felt like a distant echo.
You carried more than anyone should, Ethan. The galaxy owes you a debt it can never repay.
then pay it to her.
Later, he found himself at the compact memorial garden. Amar's statue stood tall, her stone eyes fixed on the stars. A small holographic interface flickered to life. Her voice, recorded before the battle, filled the empty air. Message: Major Cross. If you are hearing this, the equation was solved. Thank you for believing I could do it. Do not let the wake crush you. I knew the cost, and I would pay it again.
You were the best of us. I'll carry it, but I'll also carry you.
Earth's skyline glittered with new spires, alien and human architecture blending. The safe bet had changed everything. An unmarked vessel landed at Earth's embassy. A tall reptilian ambassador descended, clutching a datapad. His request was simple. We saw what you did. Our world faces extinction. Will you help us too? Within months, dozens of ships arrived. Each carried a similar story: war, genocide, and a desperate example to follow. Galactic news anchors, once smug, now spoke in hushed tones. Earth's foolish kindness had become the single greatest strategic asset in known space. The Earthen Compact didn't just sign treaties, it became a beacon. Species that once shunned humanity now petitioned for entry. The refugee fleet that once fled now anchored a vast armada. Shipyards that built 400 vessels now worked on 4,000. History would record the Thulvarian War as the moment compassion became doctrine. The safe bet wasn't a gamble. It was the first move in a game no one else knew Earth was playing. 3 million refugees had returned with a fleet. Now, dozens of worlds sent their own refugees to Earth, not in desperation, but in hope. And the galaxy finally understood. Compassion, when given freely and without fear, is the ultimate force multiplier. 5 years after the Treaty of Unity, 2 old soldiers stood before Amar's statue on Doran.
She would have hated the statue. Too much attention.
Number. She'd have found a way to make it disappear into a stealth grid.
Beyond the memorial, a new generation of Durrani children played in the gardens, their laughter carrying on the wind.
Look at them. They don't know war. That was the point.
You lead Krenth now. I am retired. Funny how the universe works.
From orbit, the rebuilt world gleamed. No more bombardment scars. Only the lights of a civilization reborn. They laid a single blue flower at the statue's base. A tradition that had become commonplace across the compact.
Safe bet, Amar. Best one we ever made.
The galaxy had changed. And somewhere, in the quiet of a garden, a statue kept watch over a peace earned in blood and trust. From the memorial garden, the view rose through clouds to the edge of space. Earth's curve glowed gold at dawn. There, in the silent morning, the entire Earthen Compact fleet waited. Thousands of vessels, each a world of its own. Human and alien silhouettes stood at viewports. The flagship Hopewell, too, led the formation, its hull marked with the emblems of all allied species. The flags of a dozen worlds snapped in the solar wind, tethered to the hulls like promises kept. For a long moment, only the hum of reactors broke the silence. Then, the sun fully cleared Earth, and the fleet shone like a second constellation. They called it a safe bet, but it was the best gamble humanity ever made. From 3 million refugees to a storm that remade the galaxy. This was the fruit of trust. The Earthen Compact sailed into the new day, a testament to the unbreakable alliance that Mercy had forged. And as the light of a new sun washed over them, the galaxy knew compassion had not been a weakness, but the strongest weapon of all. Fade to black.